That's exactly what we need, are congressmen standing up for small businesses and for the middle class, because if we don't have some folks in Congress start doing that, the middle class is going to totally evaporate. All the small businesses are going to go away, and all we'll be left with is just a handful of huge corporations that are in bed with the federal government.
Exactly. And right now what we have is kind of a corporatist state in Washington, where we're propping up those that are too big to fail, and we're doing it on the backs of Georgia's taxpayers. And I don't see how that's competitive in any way. That's not free market in any way. And I think those kinds of government interventions need to stop, and and we need to stop giving special privileges to big interests just because they are big business.
Well, I've said it here on the show before, but really what you're describing and what we're seeing in America today is the same thing we saw in Germany and Italy in the 1920s and 30s. It's called fascism, National Socialism, Nazism, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're seeing coming to America today.
And it's almost like the people in Washington have never read the history books. They don't understand that what they're doing is exactly the same thing that was being done prior to World War II. So
you're a little kinder than I am. I think they know what they're doing. I think that's the direction they're trying to head. But it's good to know that we have someone running for Congress like yourself who believes that the best thing you could do for those small businesses and the middle class is to get government out of the way so that we can get on with
anytime the government
things.
Gets involved in an industry, that industry suffers. And you're looking at things like college education, or the issue with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the mortgage lending, where their intentions were very honorable, where they wanted to increase home ownership to 70% of the population. But what they did is they relaxed all the lending rules in order to do that, and and a lot of bad loans were permitted to be written because of that. And anytime you see the government trying to do something out of good intentions, it ends up going badly or going wrong.
That's right. Now, I know some of the issues that are of great importance to folks here in the area where we live. You've touched on them briefly, but how about your position on the Second Amendment?
I'm very pro-Second Amendment, and I believe that we have a right to defend our own property, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't allow Georgia citizens to own their own guns and protect their homes.
You know, the Obama administration just had the most anti-gun attorney general in America's history confirmed through Congress, Eric Holder.
Right.
And there are a lot of liberals in Congress who are pushing some anti-gun bills. So can we count on you when you get there to defend our gun rights, our right to keep and bear arms?
Absolutely.
And the life issue.
I'm pro-life. I believe that if we're going to respect individual rights, the most vulnerable individual is an unborn child.
That's right. Very good. Well, we've got just about a minute or so left. Any final parting words that you'd like to leave with the viewers?
Well, I would just like to ask your viewers to go to ValerieForCongress.com and donate or volunteer. We should be happy to have you come and help us out, and look forward to meeting everybody on the campaign trail.
Well, folks, we're going to come back in just a minute. We'll wrap this show up, but I do encourage you to take a look at Valerie's website. Again, that's ValerieForCongress.com, and we'll talk more with Valerie and wrap this up in just a minute. Welcome back to the agenda, and we've been talking to Valerie Myers, who is running for Congress in the 8th Congressional District, and part of that district reaches up into our SBN coverage area, particularly in the Butts County area. So if you live in that area or you know folks who do, I encourage you to take a look at Valerie's website. That website, again, is ValerieForCongress.com, and you can find out more information about Valerie. You can contact her directly through the website, and also hopefully sign up as a volunteer or make a contribution to the campaign there.
We sure need that.
It absolutely takes money to do the things we need to do, and if we believe in the need to regain our liberties that have been lost, it's going to cost us something.
Well, I would just say that Jim Marshall, he in the past 4 elections has outraised the average congressional candidate by, almost a third. At least in the last election in 2008 he did. So we really need to focus on fundraising and making sure that we can be competitive against him in that area.
So again, Valerie will be one of the Republican candidates running in the primary next July for Congress. So take a look at the website. And Valerie, again, thank you for being on the program.
My pleasure.
I hope you'll plan to come back and be with us before the election.
Certainly will.
All right. And folks, that's just about going to wrap things up. I do want to remind you of some things that you ought to keep in mind. Valerie has basically given us a position of someone who's running for Congress who wants to go to Congress and dismantle the size of the federal government. That certainly is what we need. We need folks there in Congress that are working on it from that end. We're going to be working on it from this end as your next governor, so I hope that you'll get behind people like Valerie and other candidates who want to get the Constitution back in its proper place here in our government. And as always, this program is brought to you by our sponsors. One of our sponsors that's been supporting us for a long time here on the agenda is our only true local newspaper in Henry County. It's the Henry County Times, and you can go to their website and see them online. There are, I think, about 100 different places around the county where you can pick up one of their free editions of the newspaper every single week. And the Henry County Times has been struggling because with the economy the way that it is, people are not advertising like they have been in the past, but I encourage you to get behind the Henry County Times. If it dies, there will be no local newspaper here in Henry County. We have some other good papers, but it's the only one that's a truly local newspaper. So I encourage you, get behind the paper. If you own a business, contact us about advertising on the agenda and on SBN television, and contact the Henry County Times if you're looking for a newspaper to advertise in locally. It's one of the most read papers around on the south side of Atlanta, and you might also drop them an email or a phone call and let them know that you appreciate what they do there at the Henry County Times. That would go a long ways in encouraging them to keep the doors open too. But the Henry County Times, get behind them, rally around them, and we appreciate their sponsorship here on the agenda as one of our sponsors for quite some time. Until next week, I'm your host, Ray McBarry, reminding you it's not Atlanta, not Washington, but Georgia first.